In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the complete process of how to set up a MOS test call in LinkMaster logging. And before we start, there are two different types of MOS tests. There's mobile-to-mobile test and mobile-to-landline test. LML supports both types. I'm going to set up a mobile-to-mobile test, but I'll highlight what the process is for a mobile-to-landline test, and you'll see that it is very similar. Okay, so let's start with what equipment you will need to do the MOS testing. So the first thing you're going to need is obviously the mobile phones you're going to be doing the testing on. You can do up to 12 phones at a time. And for every one of those phones, you are going to need this LinkMaster AIM unit. And what this is a little box that has all the circuitry that controls the MOS testing. And you're going to need one of these for every phone that you plan to do the testing on. The next thing you're going to need is the laptop that you're going to run LinkMaster logging on. And you're going to want to make sure that you have a license that supports MOS testing, because not all of them do. If you're unsure about your current license, just contact Wireless Metrics. And the last piece of equipment that you may want, though it is not required, is this PH12 unit. And what this is essentially a USB bridge, so you can take your 12 inputs and then bring that to one USB out. It also has a power jack. And this is not necessary for testing. You can just plug the AIM units directly into the laptop, but unless you have 12 USB-C ports, it is a whole lot easier to use the PH12. Okay, now that we have everything plugged into the laptop, let's get LML up and running. And the first thing I'm actually going to do is open up the device manager. You don't have to do this, but this is a great place for debugging. If you've got an issue or something, you want to go down to the device manager and check out these ports, because what you should see is two different COM ports for every phone that you have plugged in. One of them is the phone and the other one is the AIM unit. And these are also the COM ports associated with the PH12. So if you're not seeing what you should be seeing, the device manager is a great way to check stuff out. But let's go ahead and open LinkMaster logging. So first thing you're going to get is this dialog. Just click yes. And then the first pop-up you will see is this one right here, the port settings top pop-up. And this is where we are going to configure LML, basically let LML know what we just plugged in. So a good place to start is just to hit this auto detect button, and you should see it go through and look at those COM ports. These are the COM ports we just saw in the device manager, and it will automatically figure out the chipset and which of the COM ports to connect to. If that does not work, you can go in here and manually select them. So you just need to put in the chipset. You can put in the phone type, general is fine. The DM port, if it doesn't populate, it should be the first one up here. Make sure the log mask is not red. If it is red, you can just go here and make sure all of these are checked. And then you're going to want to make sure that these options are, you use Android Debug Bridge, and then you're going to want to use Bluetooth. You need Bluetooth for MOS scores, and then this can be set to full. And once these settings are all as you want them on both of the devices, simply click OK. And once you do that, LML will open in full. And let's go over to an empty bench. Okay, so now that we're on the empty bench and we can see all of the devices are good to go. They're connected with everything they need to be connected with. We're ready to start setting up our test. So if we go up here to plan configuration, for MOS testing, we're going to want to do a voice call, and we're going to want to do a paired call with the other channels. So 1 and 2, we're going to want to be paired. So if I go to 1, voice style's fine. We're going to first SIP messages, and then we're going to want to pair this with channel 2. So if I deselect channel 2, it will give me the option to pair with channel 2. I'm going to select these, and then this is the setting where we're going to set up the MOS testing. So if you check this box, then you should be able to click on this configuration window to pull up this pop-up. And this is where we're going to set up what voice clips we want to do. So right now I'm using the this voice clip, the Polka 2.8 super wideband, full duplex, audio path air. You can do an ear jack if you prefer, but air is fine for what we're doing. This is where you can set up your recording. So I'm going to do the American English recording, but you can do any of these. And these other settings all look okay. So when you click OK, it will populate to all of the channels. Now, this is also where if we were setting up to landline test instead of a mobile to mobile test, we would put that in. So instead of doing a paired call between two devices, you would do a terminating call and then put in whatever your landline service is and set up the call that way. Okay, now that that is set up, we can make sure that these are set to reasonable values. I'll do 20-second traffic time. And once you are happy with everything, click OK. And we are ready to run the test. So now that we are ready to do the test, we're going to want to go up to here and click Start Measurement. You are going to need to save the log files for some of the LML monitors to populate. So simply hit OK. These errors should not show up. If they do, you do need to update. And now the measurement has started, and if I open up this voice quality monitor, I can watch the measurements as they come in. I can watch the calls as they happen. And then I'm also going to open up this voice call monitor. So there you have it. We have successfully set up and run a MOS test in LML. If you are interested in learning more about LML, you should check out some of the other videos on the Wireless Metrics YouTube channel, or check out the knowledge base linked on the Wireless Metrics website.